Dear subscribers, viewers, and today especially my supporting students, the long-awaited final examination of grade 12 postponed due to COVID-19 is going on, so I decided to make this video so that it can be somewhat useful to you. Only for you, the examinees I requested Honorable Sir Mr. Ganesh Dahal, or Lecturer of Economics, to make a presentation before you so that it can ease and comfort you with economics. With my best wishes for the successful completion of your examination, I take my leave presenting Mr. Ganesh Dahal sir before you. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
Hello everyone, it's me Ganesh Dahal, Lecturer of Economics, Marginal College, Viratnagar. Going to provide you a tips for the examination regarding the topics of economics for the preparation of final examination of class 12 2077. So in this video I would like to provide you an easy way of learning economics topic wise. First topic is elasticity of demand and its measurement. Under elasticity of demand and its measurement, we have to study three different types of elasticity: price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, and cross elasticity of demand. Among these three elasticities, price elasticity of demand is most important for the examination point of view. So under price elasticity of demand, we will have to study the five further types: perfectly elastic demand, imperfectly elastic demand, relatively elastic demand, relatively inelastic demand, and zero elastic demand. So this is most important topic for the examination. It holds 10 marks and sometimes 5 marks. And under measurement of price elasticity of demand, there are two methods that we have to study in class 12 syllabus. These are total outlay method and point method. Under total outlay method, price elasticity of demand is measured by measuring the total outlay of a consumer that he expenses on the purchase of commodity. Like if we suppose a consumer purchasing the commodity of 5 commodities at the rate of 5, he will purchase of 50 rupees commodity, and if the price increases, the consumer may reduce the amount, but if the total expenditure increases, what condition hold it? So by observing the total expenditure of the consumer, this total expenditure method is analyzed. Under point method, price elasticity is measured by observing or by analyzing the price elasticity at the particular point of the linear demand curve. It examines price elasticity at the particular point of the linear demand curve, say A, B, C, D, etc. Now, second topic is theory of consumers' behavior. Under theory of consumers' behavior, we will have to study utility and its theory. Utility means one satisfying power of the commodity. People will consume the commodity due to its utility. Due to utility, people will consume it. So utility, the concept of utility are of three types: total utility, average utility, and marginal utility. Among these, marginal utility is a little important, more important for the viewpoint of examination. Marginal utility, it is the additional utility derived from the additional consumption of the commodity. So under the theory of utilities, we will have to study the diminishing marginal utility. It holds 10 marks in the examination, and sometimes it comes at 5 marks as well. So diminishing marginal utility explains when the consumer goes on consuming the units of particular commodity continuously, the utility derived from every additional unit goes on diminishing. So, under this, the student have to write about the concept of the theory, introduction of the theory, assumption of the theory, and they have to explain the theory with a small table or making a schedule and a figure expressing that the consumer's utility diminishes as increasing the consumption unit. And the second theory is law of equimarginal utility or the law of substitution. Under this law, the consumer has to use limited resources to consume the particular commodities, two or more than two commodities, in such a way the marginal utility of every additional unit becomes equal of each commodity, or the money expenses on last unit of every commodity becomes equal. So the third one is the theory of consumer surplus. Under consumer surplus, students have to write about the concept of consumer surplus. Say consumer surplus is the difference between what the consumer actually pay and what the consumer like to pay. It means the difference between the market price and consumer's actual price. It is the consumer surplus. Under consumer surplus, they have to make a diagram indicating the consumer surplus. It means it is based on the diminishing marginal utility. As the consumers go on consuming the units of particular commodity, the utility goes on diminishing. So there may be the market price. So if the consumer's payment equal to the market price, it becomes the equilibrium of the consumer under utility approach. So expressing these things, students have to draw a figure and explain about the figure. So it does not need exception of the law, or it does not need criticism. It holds only 5 marks. So in this way, the third unit is theory of production. Under theory of production, we need to understand what is production. Production means creation of utility. It means transformation of goods or the raw material to the final commodity is production. So under production, we need to understand the study about the theories of production. First theory is law of variable proportion. It is based on certain production function. Under law of variable proportion, under the production process, the production comes in 3 ways. If the one of the factor of production increases in the production process, production comes in increasing return, production become diminishing return, and then production becomes negative returns. At the increasing stage of production, total production increases at an increasing rate, and marginal production also increases. And the second stage, diminishing return, at that stage total production increases in a diminishing rate. It means total production increases but marginal production start reducing, and when marginal production becomes zero, total production becomes maximum. Thereafter, marginal production becomes negative, whereas the total production declines. This is the variable proportion. So under this variable proportion, students have to draw a figure, a schedule. On the basis of the schedule, they have to draw a diagram and have to indicate which one is TP, which one is AP, which one is MP. So they have to show the different stages of production, first stage, second stage and third stage, and they have to explain every stages of production to hold 10 marks. So again, another is law of return to scale. This theory is based on long run production function. Under long run, all the factors of production remain variable, no factors of production remain constant or variable, all becomes variable. So this theory is analyzed with the help of Isoquant curve. Students have to analyze this using the Isoquant curve, increasing return to scale, constant return to scale and then diminishing return to scale, but it has another approach also, marginal MP approach, we say marginal production approach, but this one is the modern approach. Isoquant approach is the modern approach, so they have to use the Isoquant approach while explaining the law of return to scale. 3 stages of production they need to explain. It does not need to write the exception or the limitation of the law, just you have to introduce the theory, who developed the theory, and explain these 3 stages of production with their concern diagram. Fourth topic is market, revenue and cost curves. Under this topic, they need to understand there are 3 types of market to be studied under this syllabus. So, perfect competition market, imperfect competition market and monopoly market. Perfect competition market, they have to write the concept about the perfect competition. What is perfect competition? The market structure in which there are large number of buyers and sellers get together for a homogeneous product at homogeneous price. This market structure is perfect competition market. So they have to write features of perfect competition market and imperfect competition market. It is the mix of perfect competition and imperfect competition market. There are features of imperfect competition market as well. If this question comes in the examination, and probably this question is important as well, the concept and features of market like perfect competition, imperfect competition or the monopoly market. Monopoly market is the market structure in which there is a single producer produces the typical product at particular price and it commands the supply and determines the price of the product of his own. So under this monopoly market, students have to write the features of monopoly market, concept of monopoly market. So in this way, revenue means the total earning of the firm by selling the number of products. So total amount of income that derived by the firm by selling the product is total revenue. So total under the revenue there are 3 types of revenues: total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue. So there may be chances of coming in examination of revenue. What is revenue? Concept of revenue. Basically it comes of 2 marks, it holds 2 marks. And cost curve. Under cost curve, introduction of cost, definition and introduction of the cost, different types of short run cost and long run cost. Out of different types of cost, short run and long run, most important is marginal cost and the relationship between AC and MC, average cost and marginal cost. This topic is the most important out of these different type of cost curve. So students have to draw a figure and at least 4 relationship between AC and MC they have to write. Suppose I am telling you, when AC is reducing, MC also reduces. Secondly, when AC equals to MC, AC at its minimum. When AC starts rising, MC also rises. Finally, when MC intersect AC, MC becomes higher than AC. So likewise they have to write the relationship between AC and MC, but before this they have to introduce what is AC and what is MC and have to draw a figure regarding the topic and have to write the relationship between AC and MC, at least 4 relation for 5 marks question. Now this is the last for the 4th unit. Under altogether there may be chances of only 5 marks of this unit, but unit 3 it holds 1 long question and maybe sometime there are short question as well, and unit 2 there may be great chances of 10 marks question and holds theory of consumer surplus only 5 marks, and law of variable proportion, sometimes 5 marks, but its valuation is 10 marks. And in unit 1, elasticity of demand, there may be of great chances of 2 questions: degree of price elasticity and measurement of price elasticity by total outlay method. Dear student, in this way, now we will move to the unit 5. Unit 5 is theory of price and output determination. Under theory of price and output determination, we have to study the pricing under 3 market condition: perfect competition market, imperfect competition market, or sometimes we call monopolistic competition and monopoly market. So, in the view of examination, perfect competition and monopoly market are more important than other. So, under perfect competition market, how price and output are determined? We have to use demand and supply approach. Demand curve slopes downward and supply curve slopes upward. Positive sloping supply curve and negative sloping demand curve, they interact at the point what we call the equilibrium point. By analyzing the equilibrium and determining the equilibrium price and quantity, we have to explain the pricing under perfect competition market. But if the question comes about the explain what is the equilibrium and explain the equilibrium under perfect competition market, then we need to explain the same approach, demand and supply approach. And if the question asks you about equilibrium using the TR or TC approach and MR or MC approach, then we have to explain only the equilibrium. TR curve under perfect competition slopes upward to the right, straight line, and TC curve is inverse S-shaped, and this TC curve intersect TR curve at 2 points. First point is called first break-even point and another is called initial break-even point. Let A and B, these 2 points, they have to indicate the producers or the firm's break-even point, and the equilibrium is determined where there is the largest gap in between the TR and TC. So, MR and MC approach for determining the equilibrium, we have to see that the MR curve is flat or parallel to x-axis and MC curve is roughly U-shaped, and MC curve intersect MR curve at 2 points, what we say first break-even point and initial or final initial break-even point and the final break-even point, let A and B. So, under this also, we have to determine the equilibrium at the point where MC curve intersect MR curve from below. It means the final break-even point is the equilibrium point under this approach. But when the question is for the determining of the price and output determination, then under perfect competition we have to use, whether it may be of certain or the long run, we have to use the demand and supply approach. And monopoly market, we have to use MR-MC approach. MR and AR curve slopes downward to the right under imperfect or the monopoly market, and MC is roughly U-shaped, and equilibrium is determined where MC intersect MR from below. So this point is the equilibrium point, and price is determined by the demand curve. It means AR curve. So if we extend the equilibrium point to the AR curve, we will derive the price, and if we extend a line to the y-axis from AR, this is the price for the product under the monopoly market. So under monopoly market, we have to use MR and MC approach for pricing and demand and supply approach for price and output determination under perfect competition. So there is imperfect competition also. For the sake of examination, we don't need to study imperfect competition. It is less important at this time, but it is important not for you just this time, but this time is very important of perfect competition and monopoly market. So in this way, we now we go to the unit 6, theory of factor pricing. under theory of factor pricing, we need to understand how price is determined of every factors of production. Land, labor, capital and organizations are four different factors of production. Now the producer has to decide how price of land to be determined, how price of labor is to be determined, likewise capital and organization also, because they have the contribution in the production process. Since they have the contribution in production process, there need to price of them. Therefore, according to the contribution of the land, a producer has to decide the price of land, what we call the rent. So under this title, rent, what is rent and types of rent, economic rent and gross rent, sometimes we call contact rent. Economic rent is called pure rent. So concept of rent, it comes of 2 marks, it holds 2 marks, but theory of rent, Ricardian theory of rent, most important topic of this lesson, Ricardian theory of rent, which holds 10 marks in the examination. This is very important. We need to draw a figure. We know that the Ricardo divided the certain plot of land in 3 different grades on the basis of fertility, grade A, grade B, grade C and grade D, that we have studied in the class as well. So we need to draw these different stages of land, categories of land, using 4 different pillars according to the fertility. A grade is the tallest one, B is shorter than A, C shorter than B, D shorter than C, likewise. So D grade land is the marginal land and it does not hold any rent. So if particular user have to use A grade land, then one need to pay A grade landholders equal to the amount A grade minus B grade production. So this, if the B grade landholder has to use the land. Likewise, rent is determined on the basis of its fertility or the surplus of production. So this is the Ricardian theory of rent. Now labor. Under labor title, we need to understand what is labor. It may come about 2 marks. It holds 2 marks. What is labor? Now types of wages. What is wage? Types of wages. It means what is labor? A person is forced to do the certain type of work in the view of earning income. It is labor. So there are 2 types of wages: money wage or nominal wages and real wages. Under this title, we have to study types, concept and theory of wages. Under theory of wages, we will have to study 2 theories of wages holding 5 marks each: subsistence theory of wages and wage fund theory. Subsistence theory of wages developed by David Ricardo. This theory, actually it is introduced by Francois Quincy, and David Ricardo developed the theory, and Professor Lassalle explained the theory as iron law of wages. So this theory holds 5 marks and it is important as wage fund theory, which is developed by J.S. Mill. Under this theory, wage rate is determined by the total fund of nation's income divided by the total population. It is like as the average income of the people. Total number of worker, total national income is divided by, if it divided by the number of labor, then it is derived the average wage rate. So under wages theories, we have to study these theories. These theories are also important in the view of examination holding 5 marks. And similarly, capital. The price of capital is interest. We need to understand what is capital and what is interest, types of interest, gross interest and net interest. Under topic of capital or the interest, we have to study one long or the detailed question, that is explain the classical theory of interest. This is the most important topic of this lesson, which hold 10 marks in the examination. So we need to explain this theory using the demand and supply approach. Demand for the capital, the curve slopes downward to the right, and the supply of capital, it slopes upward to the right, and they interact a particular point which we call the equilibrium point. This equilibrium determines the equilibrium rate of interest and total amount of capital demanded or the supplied for the investment. So in rent theory, regarding theory of rent, we have to write the criticism as well, and under theories of wages we have to write the criticism as well, but we don't need to explain the criticism. If the question comes like critically explain the regarding theory of rent, then we have to state the concept of the theory and explain the criticism of the theory. But if the question directly comes, explain the theory of rent or the Ricardian theory of rent, then we don't need to explain all the criticism points as well. So under wages theory also, we have to mention the criticism, and capital theory, interest theory also, we have to mention the point of criticism after explanation of the law. And if the question comes, critically explain the classical theory of interest, then we have to introduce the theory, write the statement and a figure, and then we have to explain all the criticism of the theory. Finally, prices of organization. Prices of organization means it is the determination of profit. What is profit? Types of profit, net profit and gross profit. And under profit, we have to study two theories of profit: risk-bearing theory of profit and uncertainty theory of profit. Both hold 5 marks each. So, risk-bearing theory of profit. Under this theory, Professor F.P. Hawley explained about the profit, how the profit arises. Profit arises due to the risk bearing in the business. We know that every business organization have to bear the risks, as they have to invest earlier, then they will derive the product and derive the revenue. So, due to the bearing the risks in the business, they have to be awarded as profit. So, this is the profit. So, under this theory, profit arises due to bearing the risks. More risks, more profit. The main theme of the theory: more risks, more profit. Under this theory, when you are explain the theory, you have to introduce who developed the theory, developer of the theory, what is the statement of the theory, and explanation of the theory. Finally, mention the criticism of the theory. And then finally, uncertainty bearing theory of profit. F.H. Knight developed the theory in 1921. This theory, under this theory, profit is the reward for uncertainty bearing. People or the organizer have to bear the uncertainty, not the risks. The risks can be insured in the insurance company. So, bearing the risks, one should not get the profit according to your uncertainty bearing theory. Profit is a reward for bearing uncertainty only. So, we have to introduce the theory, who developed the theory, and then write the statement of the theory and explain the theory. We don't need any figure here, and then write the mention the criticism. Finally, after studying this unit 6, we have completed the part A, microeconomics. Now from unit 7, we will discuss about the macroeconomics part B. Part A holds 50% of total marks in the examination. It means 50 marks if there is 100 marks question. 50 marks of microeconomics and 50 marks of macroeconomics. Unit 7, macroeconomics part B, Unit 7, concept of macroeconomics. Under concept of macroeconomics, we have to study what is macroeconomics, types of macroeconomic variables, and then we will introduce types of economy. We have understood or studied earlier that there are 3 different types of economy: 2-sector economy, 3-sector economy, and 4-sector economy. 2-sector economy, it does not have any government interference in the circulation of economy. There is only 2 sectors are assumed: household sector and business sector. Under 3-sector economy, household sector, business sector, and there is government sector as well. So 3 sectors involved in the economy for circulation. Household sector is the consumption sector, and business sector is the production sector, and governments makes rules and regulation on the business and the household sector. So still there is no foreign effect on the economy. It means there is no foreign trade or no export or import. And finally, third type is that 4-sector economy. It is the complete and comprehensive type of economy. So under this 4-sector open economy, we say there is household sector, business sector, government sector, and foreign sector. Involving this sector composed of this economy composed of 4 different sectors. And under this macroeconomic concept of macroeconomics, we'll study only this. So it holds 5 marks. If the question comes, then we have to introduce the concept of economy, 4-sector, 2-sector, 3-sector, what it comes, and then we have to write the features as well. At least 5 features we need to write for each. Now, likewise, Unit 8, national income and accounting. National income, it is the income generated by the nation or the income of all people. Altogether, we say national income, it is the income of a nation. It is national income. Under national income, in this syllabus, we have to study how national income is accounted or how national income is calculated. It has 3 different methods of accounting national income: production method or the product method, income method, and expenditure method. Product method, income method, and expenditure method. Every method holds 5 marks for the examination, and there is only one method to come in the examination. It does not come all 3 methods at the same time. It holds 5 marks for the examination. And under production method, we need to calculate the national income by accounting all the value of final output produced within the nation or within the territory of the nation. And we need not forget to add their value added and final product method. Under final product method, national income or the GDP is calculated by evaluating the price value of all final goods and services produced within the domestic territory. Now, value added method, we need to calculate GVA, gross value added, total value added on the primary product. How much value is added on primary product? It is the gross value added on the product. It calculates the national income or the nation's GDP to calculate the national income by production method. And second method is income method. Under income method, national income or the GDP is calculated by estimating all the income from the different factors of production working in the economy. We know that there are 4 different factors of production working in the economy: land, labor, capital, and organization. This land gets rent as reward, labor gets wages, capital gets interest, and finally the organizer will get the profit. So rent, wages, interest and profit are added to account the national income under the income method. So if the question comes, explain the income method of accounting national income, then we need to explain the concept of income method, how it is estimated, and different element of income we need to explain separately, like what is wage, what things are included within the wages, what things are included within the rent, what things are included within the interest, and what are the profits we have to account. All these amount of 4 factors income to account national income under this method. Finally, expenditure method. Expenditure method accounts national income by estimating the total expenditure made by the citizen within the country. It means this method is a little wider method than former two methods. Under this method, total expenditure made by the individual within the country. We know that income of one hand may be the expenditure of other hand, so that in particular point of time there may be the equal value of total value of production, total value of income and total value of expenditure. So while calculating the national income by expenditure method, we have to calculate total expenditure on consumption within the country, total investment expenditure within the country, total government expenditure plus net export to be added in the accounting. Net export means value of export minus value of import. It is the net export. So we have to add these to account national income, since the production produced within the country may be consumed by the foreigner in foreign land, and the production produced by the foreigner and we may consume this. Therefore, the net adjustment to be added for accounting national income under this method. Therefore, this expenditure method covers all the factors, all elements of expenditure. So, product method, income method and expenditure method, these 3 different methods of national income accounting, all these 3 hold 5 marks each. Now, another topic is difficulties in accounting national income. While calculating national income, there are many difficulties. No countries can estimate the national income accurately, because there is no particular or the perfect formula for accounting national income. Therefore, we know that mixed method may be used for calculating national income. Therefore, there is many difficulties regarding the calculating national income, like term of nation. If we call the national income a nation's income, but we sometimes calculate the GDP only, territorial income. Therefore, the name national income itself is a controversial title. So, using of method, it is another problem. Using the technician, it is another problem. So, there are different difficulties of measuring national income. This title holds 5 marks for the examination. Now, finally, circular flow of income and expenditure. Circular flow of income and expenditure, it also holds 5 marks. But among these topic, difficulties in accounting national income is the most important topic, and circular flow of income follows difficulties in measuring national income. Circular flow of income and expenditure, under this title we will study 2-sector and the 3-sector economic model. 2-sector economic model, there is a household sector and business sector. Household sector is regarded as the consumption sector, and the business sector is regarded as the production sector, and there is no government effect and no saving. 2-sector model is analyzed in 2 ways, with saving and without saving. 2-sector economy assumes no saving in the economy, since one means expenditure is another means income. Therefore, if people expenses all his income, then no saving remains. Saving means the income left after the consumption. If whole income is used for the consumption, so there is no saving. One model is that. Another is there is the saving in the economy, or the people saves something or some amount after the consumption of their income. So this saving goes as capital towards the investment. So under three sector economy, there is involvement of government sector is seen, that it means it involves household sector, business sector and government sector. Both two sector and three sector are regarded as the closed economy. It is not open economy because there is no international effect. So dear student, we have in this way we have completed all these 8 units. So we shall be discussing further topics in next video. Thank you. Best of luck. Have a nice day.